Religion or science? Which one predicted the Big Bang? The question of how we came to be is one that has kept people up at night for millennia. Ancient civilizations pondered it, philosophers debated it, and theologians declared it. But recently, science has stepped in to offer its own answer. The Big Bang theory explains how the universe began from a hot, dense state and then expanded outwards. Then something happened, a tremendous explosion, the likes of which the world had never seen. Inside the egg was a gigantic being known as Brahma, who eventually hatched and created the universe. In the 6th century BCE, Anaximander proposed that the universe had no beginning and would have no end. In the 2nd century CE, he proposed that the Earth was a sphere that was at the center of the universe. He also believed that the Sun and other planets revolved around the Earth. But what about the Big Bang itself? Was it science or religion that predicted it? In 1927, he suggested that the universe had originated from a single point and had been expanding ever since. On the other side of the world, American astronomer Edwin Hubble was coming to his own conclusions. In 1931, Hubble presented his findings that the distant galaxies were receding from us at speeds proportional to their distances. This observation, known as Hubble's law, provided strong evidence for an expanding universe. It provided the missing piece to the puzzle that Lemaitre had started and laid the foundation for the Big Bang theory. For example, some Christian thinkers argued that the expanding universe provided evidence for the biblical account of creation, while others, particularly those in the Catholic Church, struggled to reconcile Hubble's findings with the belief in a static and unchanging universe. But it wasn't just scientists who were intrigued by the idea of an expanding universe, and that it should be replaced with a more accurate description of the universe. Nevertheless, the theory stood the test of time and continues to be supported by an overwhelming amount of evidence. In 1964, Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation, a faint glow that permeated the entire universe. This discovery provided the most compelling evidence yet for the Big Bang theory and helped to solidify it as the leading explanation for the origin of the universe. But the question remains, who really predicted it? George Lemaitre, with his theory of the primeval atom, or Edwin Hubble with his observations of the expanding universe? It's impossible to give credit for the Big Bang to just one person or even two people. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think deserves the credit for predicting the Big Bang? Do you think religious beliefs and scientific theories are compatible, or are they fundamentally at odds with each other? We can't wait to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And it is this curiosity that has driven us to explore the unknown and push the boundaries of our knowledge. The Big Bang theory is a testament to the power of human curiosity and the ability of the human mind to comprehend the vastness of the universe. Instead, it's the culmination of centuries of scientific inquiry, observation, and reason. Well, the answer, as with many things in science, is that it's not quite an either-or situation. Theologians and philosophers also weighed in on the implications of Hubble's discovery for their respective fields. Building on this evidence and adding his own ideas about the nature of gravity, Hubble proposed a theory about the origin of the universe. His theory was different from Lemaitre's, but it shared some striking similarities. We can marvel at the fact that we've come so far in our quest to understand the origins of the universe. Whether you're a scientist, a theologian, or just someone who's curious about the world around them, the story of the Big Bang is a reminder of the incredible things that can happen when we open our minds to the possibilities and embrace the unknown. Both theories suggested that the universe had begun from a single point and was expanding outwards. Lemaitre reached this conclusion after studying the work of Einstein and Hubble. Lemaitre was the first to propose a theory that resembled the Big Bang, but it was Hubble's observations that provided the first concrete evidence for an expanding universe, which was a key component of the Big Bang theory. Einstein had developed the theory of general relativity, which describes how gravity works on a large scale. Meanwhile, Hubble had discovered that galaxies were moving away from each other, which suggested that the universe was expanding. Lemaitre combined these two ideas with his own observations of the universe to come up with the theory of the Big Bang. The answer, as with many things in life, is complicated. This idea, known as geocentrism, was widely accepted until the 16th century when Nicolaus Copernicus came along. Copernicus proposed that the Earth and other planets revolved around the Sun, a theory that was later refined by Galileo and Kepler. While this discovery didn't directly relate to the Big Bang theory, it was an important step towards understanding the true nature of the universe. It showed that the Earth was the center of everything, and that our place in the cosmos was far less significant than we had imagined. Instead, it had always existed in an infinite state of change. He believed that everything was made of an infinite substance called aporon, which was constantly moving and evolving. While this isn't exactly the same as the Big Bang theory, it does represent a very early attempt to explain the universe without relying on religious or mythological beliefs. In Christian theology, the universe was created by God in 6 days, and the 7th day was set aside as a day of rest. Muslims share this belief in a 6-day creation week with Christians. These religious stories may have been around long before science started trying to explain the origins of the universe, but they weren't the first scientific ideas either. With that, the universe, as we know it, began. This is the story of creation according to the Big Bang theory. But long before scientists started talking about primordial atoms and cosmic background radiation, religious thinkers were telling stories about the beginning of the universe. These stories were based on faith and divine revelation, not empirical evidence or scientific reasoning. But they did contain some remarkable parallels to the Big Bang theory. It has been backed by so much evidence that many scientists believe it to be the most likely explanation for our existence. But here's where things get interesting. The theory of the Big Bang was not a sudden epiphany. It was built on ideas put forward by scientists and scholars over hundreds of years. And it turns out some of those ideas were actually proposed by religious thinkers. So who really deserves the credit for predicting the Big Bang? Let's explore the history of this groundbreaking theory and find out. Early ideas, religious and scientific. In the beginning, there was nothing. There was no time, space, or matter. For example, the Hindu creation myth describes a golden egg floating in a vast ocean. One of the earliest known written accounts of a scientific explanation for the origin of the universe comes from ancient Greece. Fast forward a few centuries and we come across another Greek philosopher named Ptolemy, building blocks of the Big Bang. So VV covered the early ideas that both religion and science put forward to explain the beginning of the universe. George Lemaitre, a Belgian priest and astronomer, was one of the first to propose a theory similar to the Big Bang. But Lemaitre wasn't the only one with an idea about the beginning of the universe. So who really predicted the Big Bang? Well, it depends on how you define prediction. The expanding universe. Hubble's groundbreaking discovery of the expanding universe was a pivotal moment in the history of cosmology. Some saw it as confirmation of their existing beliefs, while others grappled with the implications for traditional views of the universe and humanity's place in it. As the debate raged on, scientists continued to make new discoveries that provided more evidence for the Big Bang theory. However, not everyone was convinced. Some critics, such as the British philosopher of science Paul Feyerabend, argued that the Big Bang theory was nothing more than a scientific myth who gets the credit. With all the evidence in favor of the Big Bang theory, it's clear that it's the best explanation we have for how the universe began. Lemaitre and Hubble each made important contributions to our understanding of the universe, and their ideas, along with the work of countless other scientists and scholars, have led us to where we are today. From the ancient Greeks to modern cosmologists, humans have always been curious about the origins of the universe. And while we may never know for sure what happened in those first few moments after the Big Bang, and there you have it, folks. Science versus religion. Who predicted the Big Bang? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.